And we'll move on to something just ultimately maybe just up there in the scheme of pop culture.
Right.
With Star
100%.
Wars. MTV's The Challenge. Yes. We see the continued fallout from the Tori and Corey instigated melee between Esther, Amber, Fessy, and Joss. After everything cools down, the morning comes, Fessy and Josh talk it out. They bro hug it. TJ shows up at the house, and it's never good when TJ shows up at the house.
Never is.
I'd be scared if he showed up at my house, even though I love him. But I'd be like, shit, I'm off the show, even though I'm not on TV show. He gives grown adults Esther and Joshua scolding, followed by deactivating Fessy for putting his hands on another challenger. The house decides to vote in Esther. Emmy plots to get sent in by the agency, who are Casey and Emmanuel. Emmy's plan is to get away from Huey, which obviously is a no-brainer, and steal Uncle CT from Berna. Who Uncle CT also wanted to get away from Berna. That's that's true. That was a fun little thing. You write that in hot sauce, doesn't go away. Right. Emmy and Esther square off in a form of a hall brawl. Emmy wins the showdown and steals Uncle CT, leaving Berna much to her dismay to pair with Hewitt. With Fessy and Kells gone, can anyone else stand in CT's way of claiming another championship?
No.
It's this is the easiest season he's ever been on.
It's the only way that he loses is if they put him in an elimination where it's like something like, okay, best 2 out of 3, but the guys only get to go once and the girls have to go twice.
Right.
He just gets bamboozled, basically. Right. But there is nothing like there's no one. Like, here's what you have to understand. We hype CT up.
He's worthy of it.
Reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He has the physicality to stand against anyone in any physical challenge period. But he's also like an engineering major or something. He gave us that whole spiel.
Yeah, he's super smart
last season, that he's actually extremely intelligent. So he's just a lethal combination of brains and brawn for this show. I don't see anybody. There's no other men currently in the house that I feel like can beat him, like, at all. There's nobody even close.
In an actual physical competition,
no.
The only person I feel like has any chance, if it's just mental, is Devin, because Devin really gets the game.
Yeah.
And he understands the game as well as anyone. I mean, like, he could teach a 500 level course in this game. But the thing is that he's teaching undergraduate. CT's teaching freaking PhDs. Yeah. And, that's where it's at right now. And I will say that, we joked around about Emmy early on in this show. She's awesome and actually gets it too. As a rookie, she's developed relationships really well. She knows about lying to people because sometimes you got to do it. And the whole thing, like, we're not friends. Why'd you were rooting against me in this whole thing? And it's like, Emmy's not stupid. She understands the game. Yeah. She knows her flaws. And I think that's a big thing with this game, is understanding your flaws. And she's like, I'm not good at puzzles.
Yeah. So
but CT's really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
And right. And that's a big thing in life. It's a life lesson. Understand your flaws, know how to counter your flaws. And the thing is, I like her on this show. I think she's a great character on this show. I think she has a good future in this show too, of like someone that really can advance. And because she almost seems like someone that was just kind of studying everything and knows all those ins and outs. And maybe it's because when you're on like Survivor Romania, your life is that Survivor. And so you got to know the ins and outs of life. And she was able to take this and directly relate it to this show. Like, Emmanuel's still around, and for like no real reason. And there's something about like knowing the ins and outs of this show, and just it's becoming friends with the right people, not becoming friends with everyone.
Right.
It's literally figuring out who are the right people I need to become friends with, because being friends with everyone eventually ends up hurting you.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you. You just figure out who I'm actually friends with, who I can trust, who can trust me, and then moving forward. So to me, this was like a really good Emmy episode. Also, she like kicked ass in the challenge, in the actual, brawl. That was cool.
Yeah.
But she's definitely someone that I think like has a championship belt in her, that she may not earn this one in the sense of, because she's going to maybe on CT's coattails, but I can see her being someone that's very impactful going forward.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if they stay as a team the whole way through and, like you said, ride CT's coattails, that's just kind of what it is when you're with him. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. Last season, Amber was able to be a cross country runner. And so as a result, she has a championship. She can say she's a challenge champion. You know what I mean? How much of that is Amber and how much is CT? And it's not to take anything away from anybody. It's just,
he's the second best ever on this show.
Nobody was giving like Chris Bosh and Kevin Love all the love when those LeBron teams won championships. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. And yeah. And so that you bring up a valid point. What does it take to knock CT off of his pedestal at this point? It's a return from Johnny Bananas. We
need a Bananas season very soon, because
we need Bananas, we need Wes, we need CT, because the rest of these guys are just not that entertaining.
Right.
Not just from a challenge standpoint, but just from they just like Corey's just floating along.
Right. Yeah. Corey's
Nelson, friend of the program and all, but he's just kind of there right now. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, Corey and Tori started this fight. We had, in topic number 1 with John, we had the pizza that binds us. In this topic, we had the pizza that tears us apart.
Exactly.
So
all this over pizza. All this over pizza.
All and more.
Yeah.
But we're getting down to the nitty gritty. I think, as you said, when we were just BSing about it, is that I think this season's finding its footing. It's just that CT's like Thanos.
Yeah.
He is inevitable. So
unless he screws himself up.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that is a very real possibility, because however many 2-3 seasons ago, I think it was something like that, he was supposed to coast, and he went up against Jay in an elimination to get his gold skull, and he lost because he, underestimated. And so that's always a possibility with CT too. If he's on his game, nobody's going to beat him. But if he's underestimating people or, mailing it in, then it's a very real possibility that he could lose.
I just want, and we've talked some things into existence on this show, and this is, we're calling you out, Bananas. It's time to come back. Don't talk about don't talk about this on a podcast. Get in it.
Yeah, don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, exactly.